When a person destroys something replaceable, he is called a vandal. When somebody destroys something that is irreplaceable and made by God, he is called a developer.
Malacca is a coastal town facing the Malacca Straits where 2,000 ships are passing through in a day. Malacca is a UNESCO World Heritage City. Tourists from across the globe visit the Jonker Walk World Heritage Park, featuring the statue of the strongman Mr. Universe. It is common to hear members of these groups talk about their heritage. For example, many Chinese people see their heritage rooted in the past. They often refer to Admiral Zheng He, who set out on 7 voyages with a large fleet to demonstrate and expand the emperor's power in the early 15th century. The Portuguese people, an ethnic minority in Malacca, are proud of their intangible heritage. Their community is shaped by their common language, Creole. When they gather for afternoon chats, they speak Creole. They are concerned that the language might be fading because many young people do not use it anymore. The strongest visual expression of their faith in Catholicism is the replica of the statue of Christ from Rio de Janeiro. It is built on the Portuguese square. During their days off, volunteers are doing construction work on this ongoing project. Living close to the sea, they are concerned about a new land reclamation project being built close to their community.
The sentiments that we have, the attachment that we have, the festival that we have, it's mostly all water-based. And if we lose the sea, that means to say we lose our identity. That's definitely. And if we talk about fishing, fishing is in our livelihood, it's in our blood, it's in our soul. So you cannot separate us from the sea. No matter what you do, some of us may have a job outside, but the access to the sea is there. And we somehow or other get so attached to the sea that we somehow or other end up in the sea.
Their attachment to the sea finds expression in the festivals they celebrate. The annual San Pedro feast, for example, commemorates St. Peter, the patron saint of fishermen. A traditional highlight of this feast is the blessing of decorated fishing boats.
Malacca has been historical. Being a very old city, I think it would have been better off with its natural coastline. The history of Malacca is actually very much connected to the sea. All those traders that came to Malacca came by the sea. You know, all those sailors and traders that came, all these centuries came by the sea.
Land reclamation in Malacca is nothing new. It has been practiced for decades. Only 6 miles from Malacca, the so-called Malaysian desert has become a tourist attraction. Facing the Malacca Straits, these scenic sand dunes are leftovers of a land reclamation site abandoned more than 10 years ago. Land reclamation in Malacca manifests in a $10 billion project called Malacca Gateway. The master developer KAJ Development is a Malaysian company. PowerChina is the Chinese partner. It is part of China's Belt and Road Initiative due to its strategic location at the Malacca Straits and its tourist potential. 3 islands are reclaimed here and 1 natural island will be expanded. On one of these islands, a free trade economic zone is going to be established. Moreover, this island will eventually become a financial center. A deep-sea harbor is going to be built. The next island, that has already started to be reclaimed, will feature a cruise harbor where 3 cruise ships can embark and disembark at the same time. The project is scheduled to be completed in 2032. The cruise terminal is developed in cooperation with Royal Caribbean to expand Malaysia as a cruise hub. It is one of the efforts to promote mass tourism in Malacca. While local authorities and the developers emphasize the benefits of Malacca Gateway, such as increasing GDP, increasing the number of inhabitants and creating new jobs, the Portuguese people complain about the negative impact on their people. They argue that the water flow is obstructed because Malacca Gateway is too close to the Portuguese community and therefore the area has become silted.
What they're doing is just over the limit. It's just driven by greed. So much so the whole place is going to stink. You know, not now clean water to come and flush the channel. Quite bad.
As they say, siltation. The siltation is the biggest factor now. At the present moment, we can see that the mud has risen up quite high. And those days, the water never recedes and becomes dry. Now the water recedes and the whole place becomes dry. It's like a desert there when the water recedes. So I would say that the mud has risen about 2 to 3 feet high. Last time there was at least some water that we can push our boats and come closer to the shore when the water recedes. Now it's impossible because the whole place becomes dry. And when there is no wash off or the water doesn't ply that area and wash away whatever is on the top of the surface of the mud becomes smelly. And no fish or no other like cockles and so on, they won't breed there anymore because the mud is filthy. It's smelly even. And eventually, even the restaurant down here won't be able to tolerate the smell.
Because now I go your house and I dig. You got no place to stay, same like the fish. Correct? So they go and dig sand from the center of the sea. The fish will run now. Because my environment been polluted. Right? And the seabed all finished. The noise. The water also become dirty. And where there all no stone we can pass our net, when you dig, the stone will come up so we cannot pass. Destroy our livelihood.
So you have a lot more difficulties fishing.
Consider around 70%. And then another thing is the ship which one dig the sand, they don't care about the fishermen now. They move, they don't care about you. We see them, we have to avoid. Not they avoid, we have to avoid. So now if I putting my net, when they coming, how I want to avoid? I have to cut my net lah. Every time we have to sew net lah because our net got stuck with the stone lah. Because we can't go other people's place because they also got fishermen. Correct. I go to your house and fish, you get angry ma.
It's not nice to do this thing to our land. God only this for ourselves, for our Portuguese people. You know? So by doing this, we feel very hurt. But God only knows who can just stop them and not to do these things, keep on carrying on, let the sea be the sea.
So this is the very last of the boundary to show you the separation between the sea and the original seashore. Now all the houses that were actually around were either abandoned or they were just torn down. grew up as a small boy here. The seashore was our playground. But all this kind of activity, natural activity of the village, kids and people have slowly disappeared. Now, what still is, like I say, the displacement of the people have maybe created in a way a social problem, because many of them still feel, that life has not become better. They used to be more comfortable in the old village. They used to enjoy the sea breeze. They used to enjoy the seafront. And like I said, you could also earn a little bit of they could earn a living in a way, processing shrimp into belacan and even doing some dried fish. And there were, like I said, so many things that have gone because it's destructive. This reclamation is so destructive. But that's the sad thing about actually what's happening in this part of Malacca, where indiscriminate reclamation is causing havoc.
Malacca Gateway was approved by the former Malaysian government under Prime Minister Najib Razak, who heavily promoted relationships between the Malaysian and Chinese government during his tenure as Prime Minister in public exhibitions. Within China's Belt and Road Initiative, representatives of the Malaysian and Chinese government issued contracts worth $7.22 billion, as Najib Razak said on his YouTube channel in May 2017, after having returned from a visit to China that month. Forest City is a $100 billion land reclamation project in Johor, in close proximity to Singapore. The Chinese developer Country Garden Pacific View and Esplanade Danga 88, partly owned by the Sultan of Johor, have created a joint venture to build a futuristic eco-city on 4 artificial islands. Upon completion, it will feature luxurious apartments with pool access and high-rises. Moreover, it will offer healthcare and educational facilities and create jobs in the IT and eco-engineering sector. It is projected to house 700,000 people around 2035. Critics have stated that large-scale development projects have a negative impact on the environment, particularly on biodiversity.
The two most actually impactful things that have happened in Malaysia has been the forest reclamation that is happening in Johor, the Straits of Johor. And the other one is basically happening on Penang Island. Now, when you have land reclamation projects, it affects the lives of the fishermen, it affects the coastline, and now already what is happening as far as Johor Forest City is concerned, we used to have this dugong. I think you know what a dugong is. Now the dugong used to feed on the seagrass, the seaweeds, the seagrass rather, that grows particularly in that Straits of Johor. Now since the reclamation has started, the dugong have disappeared, so has their natural habitat. So yes, as far as land reclamation is concerned, it destroys basically the environment around it, and that is already happening in Forest City.
Proponents of Forest City highlight its eco-friendliness, technological development and smart city management. Although the largest part of the project has yet to be built, Forest City has already become an attraction for visitors. The two main attractions are the sales gallery and the pool area, bustling with visitors year-round. While local tourists enjoy the facilities provided, Forest City has attracted criticism of incumbent Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad. Amidst rising concerns over increasing dependence on China and the rising number of Chinese immigrants in Malaysia, he told reporters in September 2018 that foreigners buying apartments in Forest City would not be granted a visa.
They can buy the property, but we won't give them visa to come and live here.
Malacca Gateway also came under pressure. In October 2018, Transport Minister Anthony Loke decided to cancel the port operating license granted for the cruise terminal and deep sea harbour by the previous Barisan Nasional government. His decision was prompted by slow development progress and the expiry of the approvals given by the Department of Environment and Department of Irrigation and Drainage to KAJ development in 2016. Following this decision, the developer submitted a judicial review at the High Court for breach of contract. Respondents were the Malacca Port Authority, the Transport Minister, and the Malaysian government. The developer withdrew the judicial review application after Transport Minister Loke had stated that he would restore the license for the cruise jetty terminal and deep sea harbour in May 2019. Thus, the development of Malacca Gateway was resumed in June, a time when Prime Minister Mahathir changed his rhetoric, highlighting the benefits of relationships between China and Malaysia.
We have had relations with China for almost 2,000 years. China never conquered us. But the Europeans came 2 years after they came here, they conquered us. So we are more afraid of the Europeans than we are of China. China can play a very big role, not least because it is a very big country. They can play a role in growing the economy of the world by their own action. And certainly for Malaysia, this has already happened. When China decided to open up its market, Malaysia is one of the beneficiaries of that opening up.
If the government allow that to happen, give a permit to land, then of course you can fall the responsibility fall into the state, the managers. It's just like your home. It's up to the head of the family actually to allow 50 people come to our home and stay in our bedroom, or use our toilet, sleep in our living room. Or, okay, I'll build something there. Yeah, you can come visit us, but behave. Be respectful. This is my home. Right? It's up to the head of family. Okay, let's make more money by turning our home into a nightclub. And we don't care about our kids. You can sleep elsewhere. It's a choice.
Until today, I'm still a fisherman. Even I bring my children up for education, still from the sea. And I'm proud of myself that I'm a fisherman. Because my wife and children, they get what they want. But nowadays, the reclamation killing all the fishermen. Even we can't afford to buy net also. Because why? The reclamation really spoil everything. They're becoming rich, the government, not we all. The fishermen are dying. But the richer becoming more rich, the poorer is more poor. Because why? They cannot survive. Because the government don't think of the people. They think of themselves. If they think of people, we got mountains, we got all kinds on the land. They can build whatever they want, resort whatever they want. Why they disturb the sea?
There's been a lot of hue and cry actually by the local fishermen. Their livelihood has been affected. They are losing their grounds, their fishing grounds, largely due to this reclamation on which these projects are being built. But problem is their complaints have fallen on deaf ears. Nobody really pays any attention to them. Now, not only is their livelihood affected, that means the entire population of fishermen are probably going to be wiped out, in a sense that they don't have a livelihood. That's the only thing they know how to do.
You just had a talk with the Chief Minister here, so what have you discussed?
Okay, basically we discussed about trying to revive the relationship between Portugal and Malacca through the Twin City agreement that was done some 26 years ago between the state government of Malacca and Portugal. In this case, between Malacca City and Lisbon City. And it has been dormant for so many years. So we discussed about reviving it, and also to maybe also try and find ways how we can seriously work with the Foreign Ministry of Portugal and maybe see how we can collaborate on many things. One is to maybe build up our relationship. Maybe we can attract more tourists to Malacca from that angle, and also vice versa. More of us can also maybe visit Portugal, and also maybe try and find some common ground where we can maybe even bring some Portuguese, Portuguese wine, Portuguese olive oil. That's what I think Portuguese olive oil one of the best in the world. So maybe an import-export thing. So at least this kind of things maybe can have good effects for both countries. And then he also mentioned that maybe we can also do like a cultural kind of center where we can preserve our cultural heritage. He says that's very important, and he's so happy that he has come to the Polish settlement and then been given a memento from one of the unique communities in Malaysia. He was so impressed. This is the first and only community that is found in Malaysia, the Christian community, and he's so honored to receive that gift, that souvenir from us. So it was really a good visit, and we are very thankful to him.
If I say no masa depan, our children like mine, none of them follow my footsteps.
What is the reason for that?
There's no future.
No future.
They're closing up. License are stopped. You go buy a new boat. I want a license. No way, you won't get it. The future is gone. Go for what? Nowadays, laptop, everything.
Haruskah ku belajar cerita manusia berharap?